Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be showing you my current foundation routine when I want full coverage, and this has been holding up really well in the hot heat. Yesterday I walked around outside at the flea market all day and it held up pretty well. Aside from where my nose was sweating under my sunglasses, the rest of my foundation didn't look too bad, and these products also aren't like super horrible for your skin, some of them, so I'm using a mineral powder and a natural foundation, so I feel good about kind of caking this on and getting full coverage for the warmer months. So if you want to see how I got this look right here, then please keep watching. I've already done my eye makeup and I just did a basic like matte brown in the crease with a winged liner, so nothing fancy. So I'm just going to move right onto the face because this is really what I've been changing up lately. And I'm taking one pump of my YSL Touche Eclat Blur Primer and I'm just going to run this all over the face. Once my face is primed, moving on to foundation, I'm going to be using my 100% Pure Superfruits Healthy Foundation, and I have mine in the shade Cream. And I have a pretty new beauty blender here that's nice and damp, and I'm just going to take one pump to start out with and work this into the T-zone. And for today I'm going for that full coverage look, and this foundation I think you can definitely like work it up to a full coverage, but it would take a lot of layers and a lot of product, especially if you're using a beauty blender. But combined with this primer, I find that this combo doesn't really irritate my skin, and it also stays like put a lot longer. And using the powder that we're going to use on top with a dense brush really sets it and gives that full coverage look, even though I kind of apply this as just a medium coverage and not too full. So I just did another pump there, and I'm going to get that onto the cheeks so that we have some foundation all over. Okay, so as you can see, foundation is on and it's not a super full coverage. You can still see these kind of large blemishes here, the one on my nose, some other dark spots on my cheek. So nothing's too full coverage. And if you want, if you have a lot to cover, or if you have like more dark spots than I do, or if you just want to have like super full coverage, keep packing this on. You can kind of apply in thin layers. If I added another pump or two of this, I would get a fuller coverage out of it. But for me, it's like 90 degrees here today, and I just don't want to have too much caked on. I kind of like this thin layer, and then with the powder, that's really going to beef up the coverage later. So moving on to concealer, I have two options here for you, and they're both from the drugstore. It just depends your level of commitment. If you want a super full coverage look with a really like highlighted under eye that's really going to cover everything, I would recommend this Maybelline Master Conceal, and this is their camouflaging concealer. I have mine in the shade 20 Light, and this is really great. It really gives a super full coverage. It just takes a little bit more work to blend out. I would say you use your damp beauty blender to blend this out, and it looks like flawless, and this really covers a lot. But if you're in a rush and you want something that's just a little easier to blend out quickly with a finger, I would recommend this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser for Dark Circles. And so I guess these are both Maybelline, oops. But this is in the shade Fair, and I really like this. It's super quick. This is actually what I'm going to use today, although I've been using both depending on my mood. And this I think doesn't give quite as much coverage, but it does just blend out super fast with your finger, and as you can see, you can just like swipe it on super quick and then just start dabbing it out, and it just blends in flawlessly. And the color of this is a really nice pinky tone that like helps cover dark circles and correct any of that underneath there. So this is just like an all-time favorite for me. This is a great quick drugstore concealer, but if you're looking for full-on aggressive coverage, go with the other one. And now that my under eye concealer is blended out all the way, I'm going to take a little bit of this Laure Mercier translucent powder, and I'm just going to pick this up with the corner of my damp beauty blender just to set the under eye concealer quickly. And for one more step of coverage, I'm going to take my Clé de Peau concealer, and I have mine in the shade Ivory. Yep, Ivory. And I really like this. It's super full coverage. It's super creamy. You only need a teeny tiny bit. And like for this super dark zit on my nose, I just dab some on and it disappears. This stuff is magic. I'm also going to take some right there where I have really aggressive two giant zits that turned into like flaky scabs, which is so cute. And then maybe a little bit more right here. So I would recommend something like this, a really thick creamy concealer that you can just dab on directly to blemishes, because then you don't have that cakey look all over your face. You just really get like concentrated amounts of coverage just where you need it. So I'm a big fan of that. And then to set the whole face, I'm going to be using my BareMinerals BarePro Performance Wear Powder Foundation, and this is in the shade Aspen 04. And I really like this because, let me find my brush, because it's a mineral powder, so it doesn't look too like matte and chalky, but it does like keep your foundation on all day. Like it looks matte at first, and then throughout the day it wears really nice and just looks more and more luminous as your natural oils peek through. So I think this is a really great powder if you have like combination or oily skin, especially oily skin, I would say. And I just kind of dab this on. As you can see, I'm really like concentrating the coverage so that it gets a good coverage everywhere where I need it, especially. I'm not really swiping around and moving the foundation underneath. I'm just packing it on. Now my whole face is set and I'm pretty happy with the coverage. I think this is like the right amount of full coverage that I like, and this is going to really stay put for the hot summer day. And now I'm going to move on to bronzer, and this is the Glow Skin Beauty Bronzer in Sunlight. And I'm going to apply this with my Real Techniques Duo Fiber Face Brush, just everywhere where you would normally bronze. Make sure to get some on the forehead and the cheeks and the nose, and of course under the jaw. For highlighter, I've returned to an old favorite, and this is the Laura Geller Gilded Honey Highlighter, and this is one of her Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminators, and it's just super beautiful. It looks like it would be a really intense gold and wouldn't work for fair skin, but I find that I can pull this one off for some reason, and it's just super beautiful. So I'm applying this with my Anastasia highlighter brush. This is the A23 brush. And I especially like this goldy highlight on the nose and the Cupid's bow. I feel like this shade just really works in the center of the face. And I'm also going to take a little dense shader brush and apply some of this on the inner corner to highlight there as well. And to finish off the cheeks with blush, I'm going to be using my old standby. This is the Osmosis blush in Peony, which I think just really works nicely with this highlight color. And for brows, I'm going to fill in with, of course, my favorite, the Clinique Superfine liner for brows in the shade 02 Soft Brown. And I'm going to set the brows with my Hourglass Arch Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel in the shade Soft Brunette. And finally for lips, I'm going to take my NYX lip liner in the shade Beige and line my lips. And to fill in the lips, I'm going to take my Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick in the shade Caramello. And with this, the trick is there's so much comes off, you just need to like wipe off all the excess and just use a teeny tiny bit. Like, that's enough. And just kind of rub your lips together. And I find with this liner, it lasts really well and doesn't feather and crack and look horrible. And also for bottom lash mascara, quickly I'm going to use my Clinique Flutter-to-full Lash Power Mascara, and I just have this turned to the lightest setting to use on my bottom lashes. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this tutorial and all the products that I've been loving for a full coverage face look lately. As always, all the products that I mentioned and also all the products that I used on my eyes and stuff that I didn't mention in this video, I will link in the description box down below so you can check those out if you're curious. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss my next video. I upload 2 days a week on Monday and Thursday, and thank you so much for watching.